Ellen here at Yarn Doc. This is my third attempt at making this video for you. And if that doesn't tell you what kind of day it's been, then I don't know what will. Oh man. Oh. First of all, it's pouring rain. I got caught in it, soaked, spilt my coffee. Need more coffee. And this video is, well, there's a reason I call it Misadventures. Let me bring you along into the story of my day in this video. I unexpectedly had to go to Leipzig today. I needed to take somebody to the train, totally unplanned. And so what I had planned to do today, that was shot. So I found myself early morning in Leipzig and not sure what to do with my day. And I thought, let's do something super fun. I'm in the city. We live out in the country. And but I was born and raised in a big city, Toronto. And so when I find myself in the city, there's that city energy that sort of seeps into me, and I'm like, let me do something city-esque. So sat down, had a nice coffee in a coffee shop, and searched on Google yarn stores. Blooper reel. Yarn stores near me, you know, as one does. And I thought, let me find one I've never been to and go see what it's like, go see what they have, and bring my yarn friends with me. Sounded like a great idea. And I landed on something that looked awesome. It's called Wollewelten, which in German means wool world. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. You name something wool world, I'm gonna be there. I'm going. And they had an extensive website, like I think every brand that we sort of know in Europe. And so I was like, this place is going to be great. I looked at it. It wasn't in the heart of the city. It's in more of a industrial area. And I thought, this place is going to be big. I'm going out sort of to the warehouse section of town. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome. And so I jumped in my car. And that's when it started to pour. Like just sheets of water coming down. Well, I'm not going to tell you what happened. Come with me and see. So I'm walking in to Wollewelten, and man, you're going to think you're in the wrong place. You are totally, if you are coming here, gonna think, where on earth am I? It's very warehousey. There's a lot of graffiti, though in Germany that's very common. It's seen as art, so that's nothing to get stressed out about. But it's like a whole lot of gyms, and you don't look like you're going anywhere near yarn. So just be aware of that. I'm walking you in here so that you get a sense of what it looks like. You kind of have to park out here, and then it's in here somewhere. And like gym. And somewhere in here is wool. So it's called Wollewelten, which means wool world. Now we've got another dance studio. Somewhere along here should be the wool. No, dance studio. I'm going to find the wool, if it's actually here. I found it. You would never know, but okay, here we are at Velton. I'm gonna go in and ask if it's okay for me to film inside, and if so, I'll be with you in moments. Okay, so I found it tucked into the very back of a warehouse, and it doesn't seem to be a store. Everything's all locked up. I even rang the bell, got all my social courage up and did that, but there was no answer. So I would suggest not trying to come to Velton. It does say on the internet that it is a yarn store and that it's open now. It's not. So learn from my mistake. If you're visiting Leipzig, do not trek all the way here because you will not find a store. They do have an online store, which I actually haven't tried to order from. So I will check that out and maybe let you know a little bit about that. But do not come here. Don't do it. Yeah. So that happened. Now I'm soaking wet. Could not find any yarn. Don't know what to do with my day. And I'm thinking, I also have no footage. Like, do you want to watch me ring a doorbell? Well, I guess you just did. I really seriously considered not making this video. Or like I made it, but like just not posting it, not putting it up, not putting it out there. And then I realized that there are some things to talk about here and maybe keep you from trying to go to Wool World if you're visiting Leipzig. Because it certainly seems like the best yarn option if you're looking at what comes up under yarn stores, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But here I am standing in the rain. Why I was standing outside my car in the rain rather than getting in my car out of the rain to think about it, I don't know. I was not thinking clearly at the time. But I thought, okay, it's getting a little bit later in the day. I lingered over my coffee. It took me a while to find it. I ran around in the midst of the people that were far cooler, far hipper than I am. And I just revealed how much more by using that word. So it was getting a little bit later, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to head in the direction of my son's school as I was doing pickup. And I'm going to go to the very first yarn store that I ever shopped at in Germany. That was my local yarn store when I first moved. She's been there 40 years. It'll be great. It's teeny tiny. And she didn't speak any English. But I thought I could show you what I still in my mind think of as my local yarn store, even though we moved sort of 40 minutes away from there now. So come with me to Geithain, little town between Leipzig and Dresden, and see what happens at my local yarn shop. So I'm here in a very small town called Geithain, in between Leipzig and Dresden. And I want to take you to the very first little yarn shop that I ever shopped at in Germany. So it was right here in this little town, and I'm hoping that she's gonna let me film in there. It's owner operated, and yeah, it's tiny, but she's packed a lot of yarn into a very little space. And yeah, I'm really hoping that she'll let me film in there. She's very nice and very friendly, but she doesn't have any English. She's been operating this shop in this little town in Germany for, I think close to 40 years. And yeah, this part of Germany was part of the DDR, and so they did not have English in school like they did in the West. They would have been learning Russian. So English is a fairly new subject in the schools here in Germany. So you don't actually have to park this far away, but I wanted you to see just like the gorgeous historical architecture. This is the church. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty place. So there are easier ways to get to the shop, and you can even park right in front of it. Or you can take the train and walk down. But it's just so lovely here, and so many nice little paths and walkways. And it's not the typical place that tourists come to, but I miss the stairs. So I gotta go back. But it is just a lovely, quaint little place with nice parks. They have an amazing like little zoo with good play place. And so it's a great place that you could come and even bring your family with you, have a nice, very traditional German meal, which often is Greek food. Like this little place here. And yeah, lots of things to do with the kids and that, and a really cute little yarn shop. So I'm gonna climb up the mountain because I parked at the bottom so that you could see the pretty stuff, and see if she'll let me film. So this is it. The yarn store that is no more. I guess it's been 2 years since I've been here, but there was never any indication that this would happen. After decades, she was here for decades. I went down the street to the local bookstore because it has been here for decades, and I was going to ask what happened. And it's empty too. I don't know what's going on. Seriously, I'm standing here in the rain, and it just seems appropriate. Yeah. I don't know, is this happening where you live? Are you losing all your little yarn stores where you can go and actually squish the yarn and talk to somebody who's been knitting or crocheting for decades? Okay, I'm literally standing in the littlest town you've probably ever been to, and it's like rush hour traffic here in a mostly pedestrian area. I don't know what's going on. I thought I was going to film this cute little video, go into all these little local yarn stores, and I end up in the warehouse district at the office of online retailer that I couldn't even get them to open the door. And then I take you to like the cutest little yarn shop I know to find it gone. I think I'm filming a farce. I don't even know what to say. I love to shop online as much as the next person. Do not get me wrong. Amazon Prime is my best friend. Most of the yarn that I've been showing you and will continue to show you is coming from online purchases. But am I killing the local yarn store? That doesn't feel good. I don't know what to think or say about it. I don't know. I know it's a video and I'm supposed to talk and I'm supposed to have insight and wisdom, and I don't. I'm speechless. Speechless. Yeah, so where's the yarn? That's what I was left thinking at the end of this day. I'm home again. I've got dry clothes on. My hair's wrung out. And I do have another cup of coffee to get me through. I did find out what happened to the lady in Guytine, by the way. Nothing catastrophic happened with the business. She was just ready to retire, did not want the hassle of trying to sell the business or nobody in the family to pass it on to. So she just said, no, I'm just going to close it and retire and enjoy my life of leisure. She earned it after almost 50 years in that store. So fair enough. But it does lead to this discussion. I don't know what it's like in North America or the underworld. Hello, if you're visiting from Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania, anywhere down there. But in Europe, we have what we call the impressum. And no matter what business you are running, you have to have a physical address attached and registered for that business. And that's kind of what happened to me today. Is Google or Apple Maps or whatever software you're using pulls from these registered addresses and lists it as a yarn store. Well, Volavelten is a yarn store online. There is no brick and mortar that's associated with this store. But there is a brick and mortar address registered, and it will send you there. I looked at that list. You know, Leipzig is sort of our closest large city. And so I know it semi-well. Because every now and then I need some city time. Having been born and raised in Toronto, there is city girl in my core, and sometimes living out in the countryside, I need to go to the city for a day, and Leipzig is the easiest one to get to. Sometimes I have to go to Berlin. I need something bigger. But So this is not a town that I don't know or that is unfamiliar or that I'm really a tourist in. And so when I looked up this list of yarn stores near me, most of them are not yarn stores. Like there was an athleisure store uh, where maybe they have some items that are made out of wool, but they're completed garments that would have been made on a machine, sort of manufactured. There's nowhere you can buy yarn in that store. That's just not what it is. But for some reason, it comes up with that categorization. There's like a home hardware store that was coming up as a yarn store, and they don't sell yarn at all. It's not a section in there. So it can be very difficult if you are a tourist there. And some of us, I know, as yarnies, that this is what we get from places we travel as a souvenir. We get a special hank or get even a sweater quantity of yarn to make our own souvenir from our travels. I mean, some people collect magnets. My husband likes a magnet from all the places we visit. I like a skein of yarn. If you don't know, you're going to be, especially in Leipzig, you're going to be going all over town and knocking on the door of a warehouse where is not a store. And the more and more we get these online stores, are we losing our local yarn stores? Are we losing the opportunity to walk into a place and see the color range and to squish the balls and really have that tactile sensory experience where things like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram becomes even more important, especially if you have a limited budget and you really need to buy a quantity of something. You're going to need these sources to say, oh yes, I have this, it feels like this or like that, and language to describe these things that everybody sort of understands. Does rustic mean grabby? Does it mean rough? Does it mean a different kind of texture? What do we mean by the descriptors? Coffee. The descriptors that we use to describe these things, because all of a sudden, if we can't go to a yarn store and we can't see these things, we are relying on each other. We're relying on each other to share the information. And hopefully, hopefully my misadventures today will keep you from making the same misadventure on your trip. I don't mind that it happened to me. I live in the area, sort of, and I kind of ended up with a free day. And so if I wasted it learning that there are not a lot of yarn options in Leipzig, you might be better off in Dresden. We'll do that someday. We'll go yarn shopping in Dresden someday, but it's hard for me to think of after today's adventure. But you would have lost a whole day of your vacation and had nothing to show for it. Though you might have done a little more research than I did, because it was totally spontaneous. But I also haven't seen Leipzig on YouTube and Leipzig yarn on maybe TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. my kids tell me I'm too old for TikTok, and I kind of think maybe that's true. Maybe not. Maybe I need to visit TikTok. What do you do? Join, watch. I don't even know how to talk about TikTok. Never mind, be on it. But I haven't seen it on Instagram. I'm putting it out there because I really considered like just sort of scrapping this. Like, what's there to see? What's there to know? What's there to learn? But I think there are some things here that, well, hello. We really need to talk about or think about. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world out there, and we can use each other to navigate it. Maybe. I hope we're not losing our local yarn stores. I hope this was just sort of like bad luck on one day for me, because it would be sad to not be able to at least have that sensory experience, for there not to be a place where you can go and look at the yarn, or run in when you're like in the middle of a project and stuck and you want it that moment. You don't want to wait till the next day delivery, or a week or 2 weeks. As ordering online can take time. I don't know. I got all kinds of thoughts. I have all kinds of thoughts at the moment, and I still feel a little wet and uncomfortable, and but I wanted to warn you. Don't try to go to Vollevelden if you're in Leipzig, because I would certainly be tempted. You call something Wool World, I'm going to make time to go to it. And I probably could have told from the website that this was not a brick and mortar, maybe, but their website is not cell phone friendly. It's not. It's teeny tiny, very small print, a lot packed onto every page. I could see that they have a huge brand selection. But even when I got home and I looked at it on my computer, it's still pretty small. So for this old lady, I was just like, okay, looks like a great store. I'm going to go. I will link the website in the description box, because maybe it's worth checking out. As I said, they carry a lot of stuff. But they're not going to answer their doorbell. Oh dear. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm sorry. I have no yarn to show you. I have no yarn to show you because I couldn't find any today. I couldn't find any. So hit subscribe, because in a future video there will be yarn. In the former videos, all the other videos I have posted, there is yarn. There's just no yarn in this one. There's just not. I couldn't find any. I tried and I tried, but there was none to be found. I don't know. Does that mean it gets a dislike? I hope not. I don't know what the algorithm would do with that. But yeah, that is all for my misadventures today. That's really it. That's all I have to say. Hopefully this next shopping one will be an adventure and not a misadventure. But I will keep bringing you the information as I come across it and share. And hopefully by the end of this, we're laughing together, or you're at least getting to laugh at me. I don't know. There needs to be laughing at this point.